So TVNZ released a poll last night. It wasn't particularly good for the left. It wasn't particularly. Actually, it was fine for the Greens. They picked up some points. It wasn't particularly good for Labour. And I think TV3 or News Hub kind of started doing this, and it looks like TVNZ's picking up on it now, whereas they obviously do a bunch of polling, and then they release it over subsequent nights. So tonight's release is about, looking at the Silver Fox thinking about his release, is talking about a wealth tax, and the Kiwis want free dental care. So let's have a look at the story from tonight.
The fallout from Labour's poll result continues with a stinging statement from the Green Party. Co-leader Marama Davidson saying its coalition partner needs to step up.
True.
Deputy Political Editor Mikey Sherman has more reaction from the left.
Labor and the Greens have spent the last 6 years together on the government benches. Now their positions are under threat and the niceties are gone.
The Greens are pulling our weight and above our weight, and absolutely Labor need to step up. I'm not even going to beat around that at all.
And again, for emphasis,
they need to step up and do better, there's no doubt.
Labor lashing back.
Look, it wasn't that long ago where people were talking about the Green Party below the 10% mark.
We're worried about ourselves at the moment.
I thought about this today, actually, Chewy. Sorry to interrupt already, but you know how when we had Simon Wilson on, he was talking about how ACT could be the dominant party at the next election, and they're currently on a similar percentage point to the Greens. Why is nobody talking about could Green be the dominant left-wing party at the next election? Now, I don't think ACT will be the dominant right-wing party, but if we're going to have that conversation and they're polling about the same as the Greens and Labour's polling less than National, why aren't we having that conversation?
Yeah, exactly. The other thing I see here, and like if we're talking about Labour doing better, right? Stop sniping at each other. Like just identify the real enemy here. It's across the other side of the house. You guys can bitch and fight in the back rooms. Don't do it in front of cameras.
Can we do Willie's face? All right, keep going.
We'll talk with the Greens at the appropriate time.
Worried about themselves, knowing Labour's internal turmoil has ankle-tapped the leader.
I'm looking forward to getting on the campaign trail and talking to New Zealanders about my vision for the future and what I hope to achieve.
That vision, though, doesn't include a wealth tax, another sore point for the Greens. It says the money would pay for free dental care for every New Zealander. So we asked voters if they support or oppose the Green Party policy. A majority, 63%, say they back it, while just 28% oppose. The rest didn't know or refused to say.
Now, here's a question for you. Not to jump around too much, but Ryan Bridge, you know, he was talking to the PSA member, the Public Service Association member, and his response, his retort to that person was, but the public don't want it. So I can only assume that Ryan Bridge on the AM show will be pushing this agenda tomorrow because the public do want it. Do you think he'll do that, Chewy? I think not.
Depends if he's told to think about, it depends if he's told what to think.
It's true. The overlords.
Yeah, absolutely. And like this is consistent, right? We've had polls before where people have talked about wanting a wealth tax. It's pretty close to what that was. So it's consistent. You know, and with a relatively small portion of people that don't know whether they have teeth or not and whether they want to keep them. 91%.
I like soft food. Yogurt for the rest of my life. That's all I worry about, Chewy.
Like the Greens should change their slogan at this point to make, like, I thought of this earlier today of like, do you have teeth? Do you want to keep them? Vote Green. It's factual. It's vaguely threatening. I like it.
Because one could interpret it that they're going to knock them out if you don't vote for them. Is that what
if you don't vote Green, we'll come and take your teeth.
Here we go.
That's fine.
It potentially would involve billions of dollars of wealth flowing out of New Zealand because we'll be one of the only countries in the world to have a wealth tax.
There might be some
hang on.
leaving, but you can't.
Yeah, look it up. What countries have wealth tax? Google that while we keep playing this, bro. Well, I play this.
That's a right-wing talking point.
We'll Google it. Can you Google that for us while we keep watching this? What countries have a wealth tax? It also could be an inheritance tax. They're all wealth taxes. See, because he says we'll be one of the only. Does that mean there's 20 other ones out of 200? Percentage-wise, he's right. But is it also 20 that are kindred to us? Have a look.
Take your houses overseas. That's where the majority of the wealth is held.
The public chipping in on the conundrums to the left.
The people with lots of wealth can afford it and should be helping everyone else out.
It's very expensive here in New Zealand, dental treatment.
I think if their policies don't match, I could see where they end up going their separate ways.
In our poll, 81% of Labour's own supporters back the wealth tax dental plan, raising questions whether Chris Hipkins overlooked his core supporters in favour of the middle swing.
Well, is it raising questions or is it screaming truths from the rooftop?
Voter. Does Chris Hipkins lack bravery?
I think they could be braver, absolutely. I think they could be clearer on wanting a progressive Aotearoa.
I stand by that decision because ultimately a wealth tax wouldn't be in New Zealand's overall best interest.
What's not in his best interest, sitting in opposition. Mikey Sherman, One News.
Not just what's not in his best interest, but perhaps people who have a left ideology. I mean, like we've said, you get the government you deserve, and it's a shocker. It's a shocker, and people will be complaining about it in 12 months from now. I like Political Kiwis comments. Vote Greens for better dental, rental, and mental health.
That's a good one.
Like that one?
Yeah, send them that one.